Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight. We have plenty to talk about, so don't go to bed now. You will miss a good conversation. Yeah, we'll talk about the Penguins opening up camp. Daniel Sprong, should he be the top line with Sidney Crosby? We'll get into that. We'll talk about the Pirates, who have now what looks like two very solid starters. What should they do in the offseason to augment that team? #1 topic, however, plain and simple, Pittsburgh Steelers losing at home and defense getting sliced and diced. And here is your panel, left to right on your television screen. Colin Dunlap, anchor of the Fan Morning Show every day. And I don't know why you're still up this late. Well, in the middle, it's Mark Kaboly from The Athletic, covering the Pittsburgh Steelers on the beat, and Jeff Hathhorn, sports director, 93.7 The Fan. So let's get right into this. Mark Kaboly, we'll start with you. Patrick Mahomes, 6 touchdowns today, 10 in 2 weeks. Is he that good, or is the Steeler defense that bad?
Well, I don't think anybody's that good. 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks. He was just picking them apart. I think he has definitely potential, obviously. He throws the ball very well. He has some playmakers around him, but I think this is all on the Steelers' defense here. They couldn't cover anybody. They couldn't get to him. It was just an absolute mess, and it just makes me wonder, is there too much of a scheme type of thing with the Steelers right now? What I'm talking about is Keith Butler's trying to overcome the loss of the Ryan Shazier, so they're throwing all these schemes possible. Today it was quarters with 3 safeties. Is it too much? We saw guys running on and off. They're getting caught, looking in the backfield. They're getting caught in missed coverages. It's just not going very good right now, and it's so surprising because they played so well last week against Cleveland. So if I'm here to say what I think right now is absolutely, definitely, it's the Steelers' defense. They were just atrocious, the secondary, but don't count out how much Joe Hayden means to this team either. Maybe he's not going to limit a ton here, but
it certainly
limits a lot.
It's certainly the scheme, but it's like you said, Mark. It's who do you blame it on? Do you blame it on the coordinator? Or do you blame it on the players? I think that they drafted and went out and got guys for the scheme. Bostic, Morgan Burnett, Sean Davis, Terrell Edmonds, guys in the back end. When you play that stack like that, anybody who's ever played football knows, if you play that stack and you go and neutralize that scrimmage line, and even if it's a stalemate, your back 5 guys in that umbrella better tackle. They better get people on the ground. They just can't. They can't tackle. Sean Davis was supposed to be like Troy. He can't tackle anybody. Nobody comes up from that back end and tackles anybody. Edmonds missed 10 tackles probably today. If you can't get people on the ground from that back end, you're in trouble playing this scheme, and the Steelers are in a boatload of trouble right now.
Well, you're missing Ryan Shazier, who's an all-everything linebacker. He was turning himself into an all-pro caliber guy, and they didn't do anything. They brought in a journeyman guy to play middle linebacker, and they said, well, maybe we haven't given Tyler Medikevich his due. Well, it's proven out that he is not the guy in the middle of that defense. And then you look at what they've done in the back end. No Joe Hayden, I think you're right. You don't have Hayden. He solidifies that defense, and they are missing big time. You're missing 2 first-round picks, and I think that's a big reason. But I think even bigger start in the offseason when they didn't have a bigger name or a bigger impact replacement for Shazier.
All right, let me ask you this. You brought this up, Jeff. It's a good topic to get into, and that would be Le'Veon Bell's impact on the defense. Yeah, he's not here, but he's been very wishy-washy about what his intentions were. Mark Kaboly brought this up in our pre-meeting. Colin, I want to get your take on it. If Le'Veon Bell had told them from the beginning, I'm not going to be there until week 10, they would have known they would have had about $8 million extra to spend. He didn't do that. Now that money just sits there, and who knows what they can do with it.
Yeah, it's a really tough situation. I think Le'Veon Bell, I can't stand him. Le'Veon Bell could jump in the lake for all I care. But I think that his idea and what he wanted to do really didn't change until the mega contracts happened right before the season. It's patently unfair to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what happened. But I think he didn't really have his mind made up. It's wrong what he did, and they could use that $8 million. But this is a guy who is so flighty that I don't think he knew what he was going to do, Mark.
Yeah, and I don't know how the Steelers, how do they prepare for this?
Right.
I mean, his friends don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he knows what he's going to do from week to week. I think some of it might be playing by ear. I think you're right. The Todd Gurley contract was a big impact.
Well, they couldn't really do anything in the offseason because they didn't have a ton of money to spend on an inside linebacker. So they figured they'd have a guy who's serviceable, which John Bostic looks like he's serviceable in certain situations. You can't have him covering Travis Kelce in any situation. And some will say, why is he out there at all then? Because he's the best you have. You have to have a scheme to be able to combat that. And the Steelers thought they had that. Butler thought he had that with all these different type of safety things. But it's just not working right now. And you think about this too. Say if Le'Veon sits out till week 10, $8.5 million. They got $9+ million sitting on the bench with Ryan Shazier. It's hard to play in a salary cap league when you have close to $20 million not even.
It's not popular, but they should have forced Shazier's hand a little bit more. You know, it's really tough to go after the guy that left in an ambulance and is learning how to walk again and all that stuff, but he's kind of holding them up money-wise a little bit.
I don't think they could do anything about that, Colin. That was a guaranteed type of contract.
They should have signed him to an extension.
Yeah, that's what they were going to do here in this August. It was a bad situation for Shazier because he lost out on $60+ million, but it was good because he was at least got $9 million to guarantee. It was just a bad situation where both sides loses on this.
All right, we're going to take a break here. We have plenty more coming up, so stick around. That includes an onside kick that never happened. Should it have happened? We'll get into that. But, you know, ever since #1 Cochran formed Pittsburgh's first ever Nissan supergroup, people have been calling them the Titan of Nissan sales. And that's quite fitting because right now you can get $7,500 in Nissan cash when you buy a 2018 Titan or Titan XD at any #1 Cochran Nissan store. You get 3 times the pricing power. You get 3 times the inventory at 3 different locations, convenient locations, Monroeville, West Hills, South Hills, or you can just visit CochranPittsburghNissan.com. We'll have more Steeler talk and then later some hockey talk, all coming up right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. The #1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran, Go One Better, and by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.